Hello there, benders of all elements. There is an Avatar role-playing game. It's called Avatar Legends. It is a 2d6 system. It's powered by the Apocalypse. When it was first announced, I was like, yo, this is the 2d6 game I'm getting into. I'm finally going to learn to play a game with a 2d6 system. Instead of rolling a d20, you roll your 2d6, and usually there's like a critical failure, a failure but with bad things to happen, a success but with complications, and then like a critical success is generally speaking how everything works. And I was like, yo, Avatar is the greatest way for me to jump into this because I love everything that's happening here. I have gotten every single thing that they have released for the Avatar Legends role-playing game from their very first Kickstarter. Like, I just keep getting more stuff because every time I'm like, I have all the things, they announce another thing, and I'm like, you have to stop. You have to let me have everything at once and just like consume the content. That's what I need. But today, I'm going to open all of the stuff that I have for the Avatar Legends role-playing game because it is time, okay? It's time for me to open all of this stuff. Before I get into anything else, I just want to give a big shout out to Grimjack because he's the one who bought me this Adapt tabletop. That's what I'm using for this. It's closer to the camera. It makes things a little bit easier to see. So I'm using it for these recordings right now. And I think that this will be a good setup in the future as well. So what do we have here? This is the Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, special edition cover for Magpie Game. You've got Aang on one side. You've got Korra on the other side. Now, I know there's a glare, so let's pop this sucker open and I'll show it to you. Aang, the first Avatar we're introduced to. It's not like holographic, but it is shiny. You got Korra powering up, both in Avatar state. And this is the main book, the very first book that came out. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's so pretty. Everything's pretty. Being that this is the very first book that came out, you've got Welcome to the Game. What's an RPG? The Avatarverse. Playing to find out what you need to play. And then this book has the world of Avatar, so you can learn about the 4 nations. And then you can learn about different eras, because the way that this game runs, it's not like there's different settings, like different worlds, like there would be, like Forgotten Realms versus Dragonlance versus anything like that. The way that Avatar Legends runs is you pick an era to play in. And the eras are named basically after what avatar is currently active. With this first book, you can play in the Kyoshi era, the Roku era, the 100-Year War era, the Aang era, or the Korra era. Then it teaches you the basic gist of how to play, teaches you how to make a character, teaches you your core moves. Then it has playbooks. And essentially these playbooks are the character classes for this kind of game. So there's the Adamant, the Bold, the Guardian, the Hammer, the Icon, the Idealist, the Pillar, the Prodigy, the Rogue, and the Successor. And there's Advancement, a whole chapter on just how to make your character better as you go. And then Chapter 8 is basically just for the GM, so this is how to run the game. Chapter 9 is Seasons and Campaigns, so you can run this game like a TV show where there's different arcs to go through. Or you could instead run the game as though you're playing like a regular TTRPG campaign. It's just one continuous story going on. Chapter 10 is how to run adventures. And there's adventure tools and hooks and creating adventures. And then there's a built-in adventure in this book. And then there's an appendix of techniques, which has universal techniques, so things that everyone can use. Group techniques, certain like, think team-up abilities if you were playing Marvel Rivals. Then there's waterbending techniques, earthbending techniques, firebending techniques, airbending techniques, weapons techniques, and technology techniques. Because in the Avatar Legends role-playing game, you are not necessarily always playing a bender. You might play an equalist who uses tech. Or you might play someone like Master Piandao, or I'm trying to think who else uses weapons. Other people who use, I mean, Sokka is obviously the choice. I don't know why I went with Master Piandao over Sokka. That was silly. There's an appendix here for NPCs. So Kyoshi, Roku, General Iroh, Aang, and Korra. And then Appendix C is play materials. I just gonna zoom through every now and then. Listen, if you like Avatar art, which I'm sure you all do, because that's why you're here, isn't it? So you have your navigating the eras. You can set adventures in different periods. So the cool thing about this is that since it's not different worlds, it's all different time frames. Maybe you have one group who's running a game in the Kyoshi era, and something that they do has an effect in the future. So maybe people after the 100-Year War, and you're on Kyoshi Island, maybe something that your group did way back in a previous era is now affecting the world. That's kind of neat. There's also like the Order of the White Lotus, and there's discrimination and challenges because, let's face it, every TTRPG ever has some kind of fantasy racism in it. So yeah, it's going to be here too. If you happen to be in the 100-Year War era, which just happened to be where I slipped it around, these are characters that you will run into and how they affect the world, like how important they are to the Fire Nation here. Since this is the special edition, it also has the cute little bookmark tabs at the bottom where you can slide them in. Jong's here! Nice! Skip ahead to rolling dice. We're going to just go over hits and misses in 2d6 when you're rolling dice. So you add the two results together and follow the outcomes of the move. Moves will ask you to roll with a stat, so they're not your typical like strength, intelligence, blah, blah, blah. In this game, there are different stats. You're still going to use stats and add them onto your number of 2d6. But I will say, for the most part, your modifiers are much smaller in 2d6 systems than they are in d20 systems. So like here it says, you'll never roll with more than a +4 or less than a -3, no matter what you have. It doesn't go any higher or lower than that. And then you have your weak and your strong hits. So like if you roll a 7 or higher on your 2d6 plus your modifier, you succeeded, but there is some complication to it. And if you get like a 10+, that's a strong hit. Like there's no real drawback to what you did. We just zoomed ahead. Like there's actual scenes from the show in here, which I honestly wasn't expecting, but it makes so much sense. There are things here like, do I have to fight? Everyone, for sure, in this book, just like when you're playing a TTRPG, there are very, very, very few classes that will ever appear, very few characters that cannot fight at all. We famously have a friend who played an artificer, and he only put combat abilities on his items as infusions. So like if he didn't have those on, he couldn't fight, but still he could hit people with weapons. Even if you're a total pacifist, your character still has some way to damage other creatures if you're fighting. That's just the way a TTRPG is. Even if you're playing totally diplomacy, you probably have some way to hit people. Though you can be a pacifist if you want to. This, I just happened to flip to this page, making a character. Can I play a canon character? Sure. You can do that. It'll probably be hard, but can you be the avatar? No. The way that this system is set up, you are not meant to be the avatar. The avatar has other things to do. You're other people in the world that are trying to get things done. You don't have the powers of the avatar, who is in fact the most powerful bender in the land. You're not built to be a god amongst men. That would give you such unfair advantages compared to every other player in the game. And that makes sense. It's the same idea here that you usually have to teach brand new players to Dungeons and Dragons or anything else where you're playing as a party. It's not like a solo game. Your one player isn't meant to be the true MC. You as the group are the main characters. You have core moves. The way that they describe core moves here, there's also buffs and debuffs. So it'll say things like favored is a positive, inspired is a positive, impaired is a negative. So there are both positive and negative effects that you can give people. So for sure, you can play support in some ways. For sure, you could play control in some ways. Just like pretty much any other TTRPG. Then you have playbooks. We're just going straight to the hammer. Oh, that's new art. I like this. The hammer is strong, tough, and looking for a deserving face to punch. Play the hammer if you want to grapple with what force can and can't solve. Your starting stats: +1 to creativity, -1 to focus, harmony of 0, passion of +1. Demeanor options: playful, blunt, quiet, loud, excessive, determined. History: what injustice has driven you to use your strength for good? Who represents the kind of positive strength and force you want to embody? Who tried their best to teach you restraint, calm, and thoughtfulness? What fragile trinket or heirloom do you keep and protect? Why are you committed to this group or purpose? So history is kind of like the flaws, ideals, bonds sort of section of your character. If you were playing everybody's favorite, the world's most beloved TTRPG ever, sure. Then you have connections. Connections are an easy way for... We've had this talk on DM Roundtable a bunch of times where a lot of DMs are like, I need you to make sure that you have some connection to someone else in this group so that there's better team cohesion. So connections is kind of a way for you to build that. It's like built into the playbook for your character to make sure that you have some connection to some other player to like increase team cohesion. And then moment of balance. You can knock down every wall in the world, but balance isn't found in conquest and destruction. You know, some walls need to stand to keep people safe. Tell the GM how you put yourself directly in the path of an inescapable threat to completely protect someone or something from harm. Listen, this is the Avatar verse. They're expecting everyone to be a good guy. Not to say that you can't play a bad guy, but they're expecting everyone to want to be the hero here. And then you have principles, force versus care, which is sort of related to your moment of balance here. Like, when are you deciding that it's time to strike rather than to defend? So you get adversaries. Think of this as like your rival within the game world. That's who you're going to have to deal with. The hammer wants to go get them. Your moves, you get to choose 2 of these 5. So fueled by anger, walls can't hold me, punch where it matters, comprehend your foe, or stand and fight. It's cool that they give you a special ability and then they give you advice on how to use them. And that's the same for all the playbooks. And then you move over, you have growth question. Did you make progress towards your goal against an adversary? So this is how your character levels up, per se, as you go in this world. You're completing goals. You've set yourself basically a bucket list, and you are going to complete as many things as you can on it. The successor, and please do be aware that like the images here, like the hammer used earthbending, the successor uses waterbending. That doesn't necessarily mean if you're using that playbook, you have to be that particular bender. Like that has to be your style. You can be any of the 6 styles and still use these playbooks. Big section of the book, obviously, is the playbooks, because you got to know how to play. Running the game, creating NPCs. If you know how to make NPCs, like you don't necessarily have to, but there are sample minor NPCs in here and sample major NPCs in here. I know these stats are important. That's what I have to use to build my next character. This is all about pacing your season or your campaign. Threats with unique abilities. Always important, whatever TTRPG you're playing. You can create your own adventures, which is good because that's how you really get good stuff. There's a whole section on here on using a clock to make sure that your players are like getting things done on time, which is good. There's a section here for what if a player loses bending? That's not good. Oh no. Oh no. I just flipped to the NPCs in the back. You've got Kyoshi way back here, just happened to be here. She's got a bunch of techniques all to herself. And then their backgrounds are all listed on certain pages of the book if they're important NPCs, which is good. Appendix C, play materials. So like this is what you would find on a, we'll say, GM screen if you happen to have one, which we do and we'll get to at some point. And then in the index, you can go straight to whatever you want to find. And look, more adventures await. It's almost like there's more stuff they released. So at the beginning, they had released this book and then Wan Shi Tong's adventure guide, which is good because I have that as well. So we're going to go through that right now. I will note that my book came a little bit beat up, but whatever, man. Like, it's totally fine. Here was the first adventure book that came out. This came out as part of the same Kickstarter as the original book. This is Wan Shi Tong's adventure guide. It is just about all adventures all the time. An exciting compilation of adventure materials, and it has some play options in it too. Now there's a big glare, so we're going to get rid of that. Would you look at that? It's the main owl himself, Wan Shi Tong. And then on the back, you have his little rabbit spirit, which were all over Republic City, which eventually we're going to get to. Players, 3 to 6. Time, 2 to 4 hours. Rating, E for everyone. This expands the play material from the original book. So you're adding in 4 new character playbooks. So these are new archetypes for you to play as. 5 exciting adventures from Kyoshi, Roku, 100 Year War, Aang, and Korra. So I'm thinking 1 of each. 14 new NPC legends. Toph, Varric, Azula, and they can teach you special techniques because, listen, lots of people are allergic to downtime. If you could see my face right now, I'm just looking around the table where I'm filming this, pretending my players are here, because my God, they're allergic to downtime. But normally you can learn new things from people out in the world if you take the time to do so. And then expanded material for exploring Wan Shi Tong's infamous spirit library. You can go to the library. And like, why wouldn't you want to go to the library? So what's in here? Table of contents. What's the spirit library? All about the library, how to get there. Chapter 2 is NPC legends. This is what you get in this book. Differences between legends and canon. Rangi, Takakak, Longfeng, Azula, Katara, Sokka. Okay, it's really weird that Katara and Sokka aren't NPC legends in the first book, but whatever, we're going to skip that for now. Suki, Toph Beifong, Ty Lee, Zuko, Asami, Kuvira, Tenzin, and Varric. Then the 4 new playbooks are The Destined, The Elder, The Foundling, and The Razor. Ooh, that sounds edgy. Chapter 4 is Earth and Root, is a whole adventure. So how to use it, pre-generated characters, important characters and groups, GM advice. The fact that they have a couple pages on GM advice for every story is pretty good. The next adventure is Fire and Brimstone. Then there's Ash and Steel. There's Air and Wind, and Water and Mist. Ooh. So there's one for... Wait, hold on. They're only missing the... There's no technology-based one. I would assume Ash and Steel is more about the weapon use than anything else, if that makes sense. Chapter 1, the library. Would you like to learn about Wan Shi Tong? And there's like little writings in here that come from his perspective, which is great. I like that the library's location moves, and how to get there moves over time, because as you'll remember from the show, it was buried in the desert. There's a whole section on how to get there, because you gotta find it. How to deal with Wan Shi Tong, and if you want to fight him, I would suggest not doing that. And then there's Spirit World and Bending, because you are dealing with spirits now. There's Rangi. I do not remember who this is. Oh, she was a friend of Kyoshi's. That's why I don't remember her. But that means she's from the Kyoshi era. That's called Sokka style. Oh, and it says what era they're from at the top. She is, in fact, from the Kyoshi era. I'm just blind. If you want to be Ty Lee, sure. Ty Lee is a teacher! Suggested mastery conditions. So in order for them to teach you something new, you're going to have to do something that makes them think more highly of you, which is good. I'm going to skip ahead to the new playbooks because I want to learn about the Razor. Show me the Razor. The Razor was cruelly hardened into the perfect implement of their master's goals until they broke free. Play the Razor if you want to fight for a path to redemption. Your principle is control versus connection. So you broke free from programming. They told you there is no war in Ba Sing Se, but you knew there was war in Ba Sing Se, and you're gonna come and bring the fight to them. Bang, bang. Your starting stats: creativity 0, focus +2, harmony -1, passion 0. I realize in retrospect I should have actually read what all of the skills were. But I didn't. Apologies. Maybe we'll be going over that later when I actually get to reading these books, because I desperately wanted to learn a 2d6 system. That's a niche that no one else in DM Roundtable is really covering, and I was like, you know what? I can get into that with Avatar. That's for dang sure. I like that the playbooks are different from the abilities that you get based on like what kind of skills your character has. It's really cool that you could use any of the playbooks and then be a firebender, earthbender, waterbender, firebender, weapon user, or technology user. It's really cool that you have those options. Like there's 2 different sets. It's not necessarily like a class subclass. It's like I'm this thing, but my personality is this thing. And making amends is how you level up your characters, which is fine. Oh, I didn't realize she's just bending the fist as her new prosthetic. That's cool. There's a whole chapter for each of the adventures, but there's a whole page for GM advice, like how you can make your world feel more lived in, how you can make the adventure feel better for your players, which is cool as hell. I love that. Running simultaneous scenes. This is a big thing in TTRPGs in general. You know how they say, like, don't split the party? The party will inevitably be split. Something will happen that will split the party. I guarantee it. No matter what you do, something is going to happen that will split the party. You don't necessarily have to include everybody in every single scene, but if you want to, like, you can have the other players who currently aren't there take over other NPCs. You can ask them questions while they're there about, like, what do you think your guy's doing while this is happening? How will they react? It's important TTRPG stuff. So those are your 4 stats. You have creativity, focus, harmony, and passion. And then you have a friendship level with most enemies to see like how good or bad they are. And that determines, like, instead of rolling persuasion, you would roll for one of these 4 stats plus your support or survival, I believe. Important characters and stuff when you're in here. You can fight the Dai Li if you want. Maybe you can become a Dai Li. Ooh. Aaron, win. In the Aang era, I do enjoy that the way that these are broken down is they will show you when you see a new adventure what era it takes place in by showing the avatar, like on the first page or something. Because as we're going to get into stuff for Avatar Korra, you'll see her on the front of everything. But this is the thing they do pretty much everywhere. There are pre-generated characters that you could play as if you don't want, somebody doesn't want to build a character. That's great, the fact that they're here, so that each and every single one of these adventures, you don't need players who have done this before in order to run them. You can just straight up give them a pre-generated character sheet. You want to fight a whole bunch of bounty hunters? It looks like this is the one. Oh, so these are the pre-generated character sheets. They're not bad guys. I'm dumb. But it will show you what they do and then what their training is. The training is what kind of abilities they use, like what kind of bender they are, or if they use tech or anything like that. The Water and Mist is a Korra era. Water and Mist has no path to the end. This is something very important. If you're worried that you're going to have to railroad people or they have to get to a certain place, please remember that this is a TTRPG. So much stuff in TTRPGs is left wide open because the expectation is that you are going to do something with your players that maybe has never even been done before. You and your players together are going to forge a new story. So sometimes you'll see adventures that aren't really pushing, they're not written in a way that shows they're pushing you towards some outcome. And that makes total sense. For example, when I did my video on the Tonal and Mystical Tattoos, the adventure presented in that book really gives the impression that your players are supposed to kill the evil wizard. And while, yes, you totally could, some adventures don't necessarily push you that way. Like the whole rest of that adventure didn't seem like your group was made out of killers. But at the end, they're like, yeah, you just take it off his body. And I'm like, oh, I guess you are killing that guy? Which seems weird. Like it didn't fit the vibe of the rest of the story. And your players, when you sit down to run a game, your players are going to do weird stuff every single time. So be aware that even though this one is saying there's no path to the end, that's because they want you to tell the story. Let your table tell the story. I think that's the last one in here. But then there's an appendix of techniques, so brand new techniques. And it has the symbols for what kind of weapons or bending style you have. So the tech guys, the weapon guys. I just realized I've been looking at the symbol for weapons wrong. It's a swirl with Sokka's boomerang. Oh my god, I'm blind. I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. Then you have air, fire. Oh, water is the brooch that Katara had. But these are all abilities that you can use. A lot of these abilities are not necessarily for combat, but they might have cool names that make you feel like they're for combat. There's a lot of them. So think of it this way. Instead of having spells or class features or something in this game, you have techniques. Your character can get a whole bunch of different techniques based on what their style of combat is, or what their style of bending or tech or weapons is. But that was Wan Shi Tong's adventure guide. We're going to move on. We got so many more books, y'all. Oh man, there's so many books. Like I said, please do remember, I got everything for this game, and they just keep releasing more stuff. But I was like, you know what? Now's a good time for me to do the video of me opening all the stuff and showing it off to you, because it's cool. Because I know they're going to release more stuff. Movers and Shakers Quickstart Korra era. But then there's the setting toolkit for just being in Republic City. So if you want to run games in the Korra era, in Republic City, there is an entire book just devoted to that. And the Movers and Shakers came alongside it. This is a Quickstart booklet, so this will help you get started within Republic City. So we're going to go through the Quickstart book first because it's Quickstart. It has Korra here because it's a Korra era book. This is a straight up adventure in Republic City. So a full Quickstart rules guide giving you all the rules you need to start playing and have your first adventure in Republic City. This one's in Korra era, it already says. There's 5 pre-generated character playbooks tailored to this adventure that help you jump into the action. Something they're definitely doing in Avatar Legends is making sure that every single adventure they release has pre-generated characters so that you don't necessarily have to get your new players like confused by all the new rules of making a character and what have you. You just hand them the sheet. You're like, here you go. I'll be running the game. You guys take these characters. We'll learn them along the way. Which is honestly very nice. This book has some very basics here where like, what is an RPG? Think of this as you would get this book alongside the Avatar Legends Republic City setting toolkit if you didn't grab the first book. So this book needs to really get you on board with what's happening. It teaches you about the Avatar verse, and then it shows you bendings and training. So we're going to go over to bending and training. I was actually correct. Those are the names. Okay, so there's water bending, air bending, earth bending, weapons, fire bending, and technology. I was correct. They are called weapons and technology. Fantastic. Playing the game, playing to find out. One thing that all of these books do mention all the time is safety tools, which are important. Please check out the TTRPG Safety Toolkit if you have not yet already. We reference it on our Patreon when we're going to run games for people. Speaking of that, part of the reason why I wanted to unbox all this stuff is I want to learn the system so that I can add Avatar Legends to our list of games that we can run games in. I think that would be a boon in general. And safety tools, very important for TTRPGs because you want everyone here to have fun. You want it to be a good time for everyone involved. Then there's moves and dice. Fictional positioning is what they refer to here as in like, these characters are not you. But try to make sure that you have your own canon running. Like if you did something previously, that should stay with your character. That should have consequences. And that's just a good way to run TTRPGs in general. Zoom forward, you have your balance. Because your characters in the Avatar Legends TTRPG, they need to find balance. And when their balance is off, their abilities are off. It's harder for them to work on things. Think of it like Azula can shoot lightning as long as her mental state is okay. But when she's too crazy, like you can't form lightning when you're firebending, it's kind of like that. Like your abilities will suffer if you are knocked off balance. Not even necessarily physically. We're talking about like mental state of your character here. Again, a whole section on advancement if you want to like make sure that your character gets better as you keep using that character. There we go. Using this adventure. You want to make like a sandbox. You want your players to be able to do whatever they can do. A GM advice, making a good mover, maybe a good shaker, you never know. Here are the pre-generated characters. So you have an airbender named Erdeen, and they also describe like how this character fights. Like Erdeen's strong individual streams of air, like a firebender's flame jets, is how that character fights. Your training is where you would put your bending or your weapons or your technology. So the 5 pre-gens in this book are Erdeen. The epithet for these characters is the playbook that they're playing out of. So Erdeen is a prodigy who uses airbending. Kacha is a guardian that uses weapons. Thai is the hammer who uses technology. Mika's the idealist who uses waterbending. And Day is a successor who uses earthbending and weapons. That means within this system, you're not necessarily stuck to just your bending. You can also adapt some kind of weapon or technology and use them at the same time. Though, if you're an equalist, you're probably not also using bending. But you know what I mean. Like, you can mix and match a little bit. There's some sort of multi-classing here. Because generally speaking, you wouldn't be able to learn another style of bending, but you could learn to use weapons or technology. And then at the end, there's combat exchanges, how you can do this, status effects, your basic techniques, and then some more important techniques for, if they don't have a symbol, it means they're usable for everybody. If they have a symbol, it means they're only usable for certain people. So there's air swipe for airbenders, and then there's earth armor, earth gauntlet, rock column, and ground shift for earthbenders specifically. But that was just a quick start guide. This is if you just want to jump right into Republic City. If you don't want to jump right into Republic City and you really want to stage a game there, then the setting toolkit is what you want to be looking at. This book right here, which I'm going to open up so that there's no glare. Now we come to the Republic City. What are you getting here? This is a whole book just on the setting of Republic City for the core era. So here you get 3 new character playbooks. These are archetypes to help you play compelling protagonists. So the class that you're picking. A new adventure, 5 new NPC legends, including Mako, Bolin, Lin, and doesn't tell you the other ones. 10 districts in the city, each with its own NPCs, locations, and plot hooks. And expanded mechanics for pro bending, vehicles, and mecha. You can go and play a pro bending match with this book now. You get your map of the 4 nations, which I think pretty much all the books have. Esteemed Vagabond, eh? What's in this book? Welcome to Republic City. If you want to learn more about Republic City, this is where you're going to hang out. The different districts is all chapter 2. So you've got Central District, Downtown, UA Bay, Old Cranefish Town, Harmony Park, Roku Plaza, Spirit Wilds, Green Meadows, Dragon Flats Borough, and the Underground. And then chapter 3, The Way of Future, Pro Bending. A whole section on how to run pro bending matches. You've got a whole section on vehicles and a whole section on mecha. Yo, Grimjack, are you excited? Then 3 new playbooks, the Adrift, the Aspirant, and the Outcast. And then Adventures in Republic City. Important differences. You got the Quick and the Quarrelsome is a new adventure. And again, it comes with GM advice, which is great if you want to run it. And then you have an appendix of new techniques, and you have an appendix of new NPC legends. So it's Lin, Julie, Mako, Bolin, and General Iroh. This is a setting toolkit. So everything in here is based entirely upon Republic City as a whole. Everything that you want to do in Republic City, everything that could be done in Republic City is in this book. It's not like here's all these different things through the ages. It doesn't have stuff for everything. It's just got stuff for Republic City. So like the Equalist Uprising, you can go fight the Equalists if you want to. There's different factions in the different areas of the city. But then there's cross-district factions. People and creatures can go wherever they want. It's a city, so like there's spirits, there's the triads, there's the Republic City Police Department, if you want to hang out with Lynn. Whole bunch of plot hooks for each of the districts. I'm going to just read you the districts and their gist. We don't need to go through all of them. But there's Central District, Political Hub of Republic City. Play here if you want to involve yourself in the politics of the city and its police service. So this is good for breaking down like what your characters might want to do, where you want to set them down. You can for sure go between the districts, but this will give you a gist of like what the most important or relevant things in each district is. Downtown, the financial and technological heart of the city. Play in downtown if you want to dabble in new cutting-edge technologies. UA Bay, the main entrance to the city, welcoming those from all over the world. Play in UA Bay if you want to dabble in pro bending or aid in the development of the Air Nation on Air Temple Island. Old Cranefish Town, the historical roots of Republic City. Play in Old Cranefish Town if you want to help preserve a piece of the city's history. Harmony Park, the city's glittering center of entertainment and fashion. Play in Harmony Park if you want to rub shoulders with the who's who of Republic City and be seen at all the right parties. Roku Plaza, the home of Republic City University and Fire Lord Zuko Library. Play in Roku Plaza if you want to help quell an upcoming equalist threat and help shape the future minds of Republic City. And the Spirit Wilds, the home of Republic City's spirit portal and a hub of spiritual activity. Play in the Spirit Wilds if you want to interact with spirits and work for balance between the physical world and the spirit world. Then there's Green Meadows, the prime example of an industrial district in Republic City where workers strive towards unionizing for better rights. Play in Green Meadows if you want to help fight the good fight and get workers their due. Dragon Flats Borough, the part of the city rife with triad activity where the lines between legal and illegal are blurred. Play in the Dragon Flats if you want to get into triad business for better or for worse. And then the Underground, the tunnels deep under the city, many dug or expanded by badger moles. Play in the Underground if you want to explore the unknown or stop illicit activities hidden from the light. So it's cool that they're giving you not only this whole big city, but they're also telling you where you should stage your story, your plot hooks, if you want certain things to occur or to happen. We don't necessarily need to go through all the districts. A lot of this book is district stuff. You can navigate things. There's notable figures and everything. I want to just skip ahead to pro bending. You can add pro bending in here. There's match summaries. But when you are pro bending, do remember that there's no place for airbenders or weapons or technology users here. Pro bending is all about water benders, earth benders, and fire benders. You can totally get injured. There's a section here. What about airbenders? Currently, airbending is not in pro bending, and even Avatar Korra was forbidden from airbending during a match. Post harmonic convergence, airbenders are still not allowed in formal pro bending matches. In response, Dalase, a new airbender, has created her own form of nomadic pro bending, and it has been gaining traction among pro bending fans. See Dalase on page 31 for more on an airbender trying to add airbending to pro bending. Airbenders aren't in there yet, but that could be your plot hook. I want airbenders to be allowed in pro bending. Maybe you even change the whole idea of pro bending from 3-on-3 to 4-on-4. Your team needs one of each kind of bender. That is real harmony in sport, baby. I'm going to read you the match summary, too, for how to incorporate pro bending, because I'm sure a lot of you would love to be a pro bender. I have a poster on the door to my room of Korra, Mako, and Bolin pro bending. Like, pro bending is cool. Abbreviates pro bending matches within Avatar Legends. PCs involved with pro bending in any way get to make arena moves and or highlight moves. Arena moves resolve actions taken before or during the match, but outside of the actual match itself. Stuff like getting the crowd to cheer or gathering intel on the opposing team. These can be taken by any PC, but they are usually taken only by the non-pro benders. If one of the actual competing pro benders wants to make an arena move in addition to a highlight move, they have to mark 2 fatigue in addition to all other costs. Makes sure that the other people on your team who aren't a waterbender, earthbender, or firebender can still participate within a match. That's nice. Highlight moves resolve during the individual rounds of an actual match. During each round of the match, the GM selects one competing pro bender PC to make a highlight move. That PC decides which highlight move to make and rolls with the appropriate modifiers. Each round requires a different competing pro bender character to make a highlight move. So there's going to be 3 rounds, at least, where only one of the 3 of you does something. Every time any pro bender on the team makes a highlight move, they mark that move on a list. The team as a whole can never make a marked highlight move, so you can only do each of the highlight moves once. The team clears all marks on the list after they have marked 9 different highlight moves as a whole, or after this season is over. You gotta either do one of everything or wait until the season is over before you can start doing things again. Interesting. Some highlight moves end in a face-off. A special 1v1 move to resolve tied rounds. Ooh, you want a 1v1 me, bro? Get good. Matches are won by the team that either wins 2 out of 3 rounds, so it is 3 rounds, or by the team that gets a knockout, an instant win, based on the results of the highlight moves. Each of you get to do one thing per match, generally speaking. So keep that in mind. It's not like a give and take. It's like a best 2 out of 3 thing. So there might be times where your 2 teammates, when you're pro bending, just absolutely obliterate their foes, and you don't even get to do anything. That's kind of lame. Not gonna lie, it's kind of lame. We moved on to vehicles now. There's street racing. There's racing mechanics. Dex, this is clearly for you. How tough is the racing vehicle? Your racing vehicle has a damage track between 5 and 15 boxes long. If something gets damaged along the way, obviously you can't use it. Then we have a whole section on mecha, traits of a mecha. You can build your own mecha, and then you have different levels of energy and stats for them. Mecha pilots, you can do 1 or 2, so you can Pacific Rim this up if you want. And we have 3 new playbooks. We have the Adrift, where they used to be told everything that they needed to be told, and they didn't do anything by themselves, and now they're just out there in the world. The Aspirant wants the team to do the best that they possibly can, but they think they need all this outside energy to rally with the team. And then the Outcast. They're thrown out of their hometown for a conflict over their integrity, and now they're trying to find ways to belong while staying true to themselves. Society versus integrity. Aspirant has legacy versus adoration, and the Adrift has risk versus stability. So each of the playbooks, their thing is that like you have to choose which. You have to maintain balance between 2 separate ideas, like society versus integrity. Do you give in to societal norms, or do you just be yourself? And then we speed forward, where there are not necessarily multiple adventures, but there are multiple hooks. So there's the Wayward Mech, Amon's Hour, The Heir's Escape, Missing Money, and Spirits. Each of those make you like go after, look for some kind of thing. But the actual adventure here is The Quick and the Quarrelsome. It takes place in the Korra era, and surprise, surprise, it's in Republic City. And just like all the other ones, there are NPCs. The way that they break them down is like how important they are, like how many abilities they'll have, how much information they have. There's legendaries, there's majors, and there's minor NPCs. Like major NPCs have slightly more information about them than minor NPCs do. There's so much stuff here. There's, again, GM advice. The fact that there's a whole section in every adventure in this system for GM advice, like how just to make this run better, is fantastic. Now we have some new techniques. I had said before, like, you can't really multi-class per se if you're using one of the regular bending styles, but you can go into like the sub-bending styles. So fire, you can learn combustion techniques, learn lightning techniques. Earth bending, I saw in the Movers and Shakers book, can learn metal techniques, like metal bending. So it's not necessarily multi-classing like you would a bending style and weapons or a bending style and technology, but there's sort of ways you can learn more specialized skills. And then we have a section over here on, here's another metal bending ability. NPC Legends. So you have Lin Bei Fong, you have Julie, you have Mako, you have Bolin, and finally, General Iroh. Oh, I'm dumb. They're calling him General Iroh to separate him from Uncle Iroh. Gotcha. Okay, I'm just silly. And again, there's a whole section for each of these legendary NPCs can teach you something. And there's a section in their section of the book that's just like, hey, this is how they act as a teacher. This is what you're going to have to do to impress them so that they can teach you something new, which is great. And then that's it. That's all there is for the Republic City setting toolkit. I do have one more book that I want to share with y'all, which, speaking of Iroh, we've got Uncle Iroh's Adventure Guide. So this is like Wan Shi Tong's Adventure Guide, where it's just a book of adventures and how to run them. Listen, I know you were all waiting for this, just a sneak peek at everybody's favorite uncle, okay? Okay? This is an exciting compilation of new adventure material and play options. So there's 4 new character playbooks. That's more than in the setting toolkit for Republic City. 5 new adventures in the Kyoshi era, the Roku era, the 100-Year War era, the Aang era, and the Korra era. Cool thing here is, like I mentioned before, they said you can run these standalone, or you can use them as one continuous campaign where the people in the past influence the people in the future. 10 NPC legends. Lu Ten, Piandao, Toph, each able to teach special techniques. Expanded material for exploring Jasmine Island, a new location beloved by Uncle Iroh. Oh, he's gonna get so much tea! Oh, the color changed a little bit on this map. That's cool. I also thought this was going to be about him in the Spirit Wilds, but it's not. Sharing tea with a fascinating stranger is one of life's true delights. Yeah. You can learn all about Jasmine Island and how it's changed over time. And it's got a whole section on generational play. That's what we're going to go look at in a second. But first I want to tell you about the NPC legends. Heiran, Tagaka, Kondro, Princess Zaysan, Lu Ten, Captain Zhao, Piandao, Uncle Iroh, Tonrak, and Toph. And the new playbooks, the Architect, the Authority, the Bound, and the Broken. Interesting. Okay, if you're not playing a game where you have the Bound and the Broken on the same team, like, you're doing something a little wrong. Your first adventure is Tea and Troubles. Then there's Ceremonies and Secrets. Then there's Vengeance and Virtue. Then there's Return and Regrowth. And the final one is Discord and Drills. Now, you may have noticed that all of these adventures have 2 different things to go through. The way that they're built is kind of the same way as the playbooks, where like there's 2 different principles that you're dealing with, and you have to find the balance between them. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you want to side on one side or the other. That's up to you. So I want to go straight to page 28 for generational play, because the 5 adventures in this book all take place in different eras. So that's different time frames. But they all take place in the same exact place. In the Why Play Generationally section, they're like, hey, if you play a single campaign with a single group of characters, you're going to have a lot of experiences with them. You'll really get to grow and build on them. But generational play is good if you want to keep changing things around, but still have some tie to the things you've done before. Because yes, the people in the past influence what's happening now in the future, but now you can influence that even further with someone completely different. Maybe you don't like what your team did in the past. Now you're going to play someone with a playbook that'll really mess up what you did in the past. You're like, yes, this is what we're going to do. And then there's a section here that's like, should you make new PCs? Generally speaking, they're spaced too far apart, but depending on the eras, like 100 Years War into Aang, maybe you have the same character, they just got much older. Or your character is like old now and you're running into them and they're just an NPC. So you could technically, yes, meet your characters from the past, depending on like which eras you're in. But for the most part, you are going to make new PCs, which makes sense because there's time has passed. It's kind of one of the things that they brought up before where you guys, since this is a TTRPG, this is a collaborative storytelling game. you're telling a story. You want to keep the canon of your story canon. So what you did before should have an impact on what you do now. It should be the fiction that you guys have created as a table should matter. Skip ahead to Lu 10. Do you want to be sad? I just realized who Lu 10 was. Oh, now I'm sad. I don't want to read about that. No. We're going to skip ahead to the playbooks. Architect they made something brand new, and their principles are planning versus discovery. The authority, you're the leader of a faction. Your balance principles are service versus self. The bound, you serve an institution in a position of importance and responsibility. Your balance principles are duty versus justice. And the broken, this is for you edgy folks who want to make a sad backstory. You endured a terrible tragedy that broke them, but now you're rebuilding themselves. Your principles are restoration versus reinvention. So like they show them doing one of the bending styles or using weapons or something, but you could have any kind of training you want. You don't have to use the playbook art for them. Most of the books do have a bookmark within them, and it is pretty. The one for General Iroh is green, like tea leaves. Just skipping ahead, remember that they each show, most of them show the avatar down here, but 100-Year War just shows Fire Lord Ozai because he's a dick. And he was like the most important person during that time. Ugh. As much as I'm loath to say it. Again, they all have important characters and groups. And again, remember that they're broken down by legendary. Then there's master NPC. I haven't seen that yet. I guess they're very, very important. Then major and minor NPCs. And they have less and less information on themselves as they go down that list. But these are pre-generated characters. All of the adventures have some pre-generated characters. So again, you don't have to jump in and build a character before you start. Each of these adventures has a character that will make sense for this adventure and make you feel like you're already like on the path to learning to play the game properly. So this one happens to have the Pillar, who's good with weapons, using the Guardian playbook, and they're a firebender. Then there's Basalt the Hammer. That's the playbook they're using, and their training is earthbending. And then you have Umei Lee using the Successor playbook and technology, and Siku the Prodigy using waterbending. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff on generational play aspects, like what will change over time in the world that you're in. Okay, so some of these do have how it ends, because again, you want your fiction to be complete. You want it to make sense as you go. These are just more pre-generated characters. Generally speaking, you don't have to use pre-generated characters for these specific adventures. If they're in the same era, you can take the pre-generated characters from one of these and put them into a different adventure and see how they play out. That totally works too, because as long as they're in the correct era, they're going to make sense. Like they may work better in the adventure that they were pre-generated for, but you can still mix and match and move them around. If you got tired of, say, continually running the same adventure over and over and over again, using the pre-generated NPCs from that particular adventure, you can be like, you know what? I got pre-generated NPCs from a different adventure. I will hand these out. Let's see how you guys play this out. Or maybe your players want to do that too. You never know. Want to fight some mecha? That's how you're going to fight some mecha. Sections over generational play aspects, because it's weird to me that we're waiting until now to get generational play aspects, because that should be a thing, but it seems like they're talking about them a lot. Maybe just because this setting stays the same. Oh, you get lava bending too. Did not realize that. Haven't seen that one yet. Oh, Seismic Sense. Earthbender's got a lot of abilities. Those are all the big books I've got for Avatar Legends, but we're not done with stuff yet. I have so much more stuff. There's so many accessories too. So the first thing we're going to show off is the GM screen. As far as the outside goes, fire, air, water, earth, but it has Angkora in the middle. And then I was hoping that this was the case as we flip this bad boy over. Ah, finally. This is honestly I was most excited about, them having the helping stuff on the back, because there are lots of GM screens that you get that just have like blank space or like whiteboard space or something on the back of them. But when you have a good GM screen, it's got all the things that you might need right here in front of you to make running the game easier. We're going to start with what's on the sections here. NPCs. Yeah, NPCs. Groups of NPCs. Types of stat blocks. And you'll see here, not only is there more or less information, depending on what kind of NPC type there are, but they have more levels of fatigue, so they have to take more damage before they get knocked out. And then like random examples of each of them as well, which is cool. Then you have technique packages. So if you're a waterbender, earthbender, firebender, airbender, use weapons or technology, the basic gist abilities for each of them. Your training inspirations. If you want to just describe a new NPC or PC and how they do things, that's cool. Then there's specialized bending forms. Oh, finally, a whole list of them. Perfect. We finally have a list of all the specialized bending forms. So there's blood bending, combustion bending, energy bending, which doesn't have a from anything, which is interesting. Healing from water bending, flight. So airbending does have a special one. Lava bending, lightning bending, metal bending, seismic sense, spirit bending, which is from water bending, which is cool. And spiritual projection. Oh, also from airbending. So they have two special ones. A name list of just people from the different nations or where they're from and the names, because listen, making NPC names up is really, really hard. Or basic moves, trigger, fatigue, balance moves, core playbook. Oh, these are the base playbook people have to decide between. How to get rid of conditions, being taken out, growth questions. How do you become better as a character? Then combat exchanges to teach you how to do combat, stance moves after the exchanges, statuses, negative and positive ones. Then a whole bunch of basic techniques, advance and attack. Then ensure the world fields ideas. These are going to be important things considered. Okay, just give me 1 sec. For GM reference, agendas. Ensure the world feels real. Make the PC stories feel meaningful and important. Play to find out what happens. Baselines. Always say what the guidelines demand, what the rules demand, what honesty demands. Guidelines. Describe a wondrous world with a deep history. Address the characters, not your players. Be the companion's biggest fan. Ask questions and let your players answer. Put emotions on character sleeves. Resolve conflicts episodically. Remember the history of the world and characters. Emphasize lessons throughout. Give NPCs drives, fears, and hopes. Make conflicts moral choices. Use imbalance instead of evil. Counterbalance darkness with light. Seek consequences besides death. And GM moves. Reveal a hidden truth. Inflict fatigue or a condition. Shift their balance. Twist loyalties with tempting offers. Escalate to violence. Offer a risky or costly opportunity. Threaten someone. Shift the odds suddenly. Exploit a weakness in their history. Provide wisdom in unlikely places. Or turn a move back on them. If you get stuck, beseech them for help, upset their balance, focus on their trainings, and training move, and a whole bunch of techniques. Learn techniques, practice techniques, master techniques, mastery conditions, and then some sample mastery conditions, and then inflicting fatigue or conditions. And then a whole bunch of suggested place names at the bottom is absolutely fantastic. The GM screen folds up like so that you have Aang and Korra over here. And next up on accessories, we have something a little bit smaller, the Combat Action Deck. Basically, this helps you make sure that your combats run very smoothly, because player aids are super helpful. So it has 9 sets of stance cards, 1 for each player, the basic techniques tied to each stance card, art of your favorite legendary characters, and 28 status cards to track whether you're empowered, doomed, favored, or more. So let's just open these bad boys up. Listen, I am 1000% a sucker for player aids, but like sometimes your table isn't ready for player aids, if that makes sense. So there's different backs to each of the cards. We'll look over what they are in a second. I just want to show you the backs. All your favorite characters, some favorite characters that people shouldn't be favorite characters. Oh, hey, Jet. Status. Oh, no. Okay, so the status cards don't have fun backs, but we'll look them over. So, oh, they're double-sided. Okay, so status, prepared. This will also explain some of the status effects in the game. You're ready for what's coming. Clear prepared to take a +1 to an appropriate roll after the roll or avoid marking a condition. And then the other side is stunned. You're caught off guard. You can't act or respond for a few seconds until you steady yourself. 7 of them because they're assuming you're going to play with a party of 6, I suppose. A status inspired. So one side is a boon, one side is a curse. Inspired, you're ready to stand for something. Clear inspired to shift your balance toward a principle of your choice. Or trapped. You're completely helpless. You must mark a combination of 3 conditions or fatigue to escape. You got empowered, Your abilities are naturally stronger in this moment. Clear 1 fatigue at the end of each exchange. Okay. The other side is impaired. You're slowed or off balance. Mark 1 fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions / choose 1 fewer technique for NPCs. So different things affect players versus NPCs differently. Then you've got status, favored. You're buoyed by circumstance. Choose an additional basic or mastered technique in the next exchange, even on a miss. Okay. And then doomed. You're in grave danger. Mark 1 fatigue every few seconds or each exchange until you free yourself. Oh no, you're losing your breath, literally. These guys all say evade or observe, but they're different based on who's on the back, I suppose. So this first one is NPCs clear 1 fatigue and choose 1+ balance rating techniques. Test balance, bolster or hinder, commit. Strike, pressure, smash, ready, retaliate, seize a position. The blue ones are for PCs, the red ones are for NPCs. So there's 3 sets of them for NPCs. You're not doing large-scale battles, so there only being 3 sets of NPCs that you're really interacting with sort of makes sense to me. You don't do a lot of large-scale battles in this system. But yes, this deck of cards will help you with the basic gist of running sessions. These are good helper cards for the basic gist of running a session. Now, in a bit of a weird turn of events, they did make an Appa dice tray, but I think it came with the general Iroh book? I'm not 100% sure, which is weird that it didn't come with the original set, but there is a dice tray here. Oh, material-wise, it's not what I was expecting. This feels like a mouse pad. It's even stitched. It smells like a mouse pad, too. Whoop! I guess it's better than smelling like a wet air bison. It's not the material I was expecting at all. Those are good buttons though, and the back has the same art as the GM screen. Let's just do them up. Boom, 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 boom. Appa! Oh, that smells like China. Wow, that's stinky. You know, I wish we had some dice to roll in it though. Well, that would be so crazy if there was Avatar Legends dice. Wow. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I feel like I could roll like metal dice in this and it wouldn't mess it up because it's not like leather. It's not going to get scratched. It's just mouse patty. We will keep this out here because we're going to be using it at some point. But who doesn't want to roll in Appa? That's cool. Check it out. There are dice. Look at these. These are very specific dice though. So here, let me pop this open and show you. My container broke a little bit, but that's fine. But you do have a whole bunch of D6s in here. So those of you who like playing war games and you want to use your D6s, you've got them here. As you'll notice, the 6 on each of them is tied to one of your trainings. So waterbending, earthbending, technology, weapons, firebending, airbending. Each of your players or whatever NPC you happen to be using has their own special set of D6s. These feel nice. These feel really nice. They sound good. They're tactile. So you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then waterbending. Thank you for making sure that the symbol is on the 6 and not the 1. I can't stand dice where the symbol is on the 1. That's dumb. Don't do that. This is your weapons dice. They're like black-ish. Waterbending is blue, obviously. Airbending is like a white and gray mix. Your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is the base dice pack. And I say that for a reason that we'll get into momentarily. These are the tech dice. They are purple. Dex, I know you must be screaming about these dice right now. Earthbending, obviously green. The 6 is the earthbending symbol. These are really good D6s. Like, they feel good. Firebending, obviously, is red on the D6. And you know what we're going to do? This is how you roll. The dice tray is relatively small, specifically because you don't roll a lot of dice in Powered by the Apocalypse games. It's like, here you go. Your dice, this is all you got. Boom. Oh, well, they both bounced out. All right, let's try tech dice. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting them to roll in. So do be aware, whatever's on the bottom may cause your dice to roll out. I'll take a 10. A 10 is pretty good. Like a 10 is pretty good, y'all. Like a 10 is pretty good. Look at that. I'll take a 10. And they're very, very legible, which is great. There are way way too many games where they are not legible, like, at all. Yeah, we got to use our Appa dice tray. These are really nice D6s. I'm very happy that they are very nice D6s. And there's one for basically every kind of training you can run. They're not obviously for playbooks, because you're going to be rolling dice related to your training when you're in combat and stuff, so they have the symbols here. Okay, honestly, at first I was like, what do I need these for? But then I was like, yo, these are nice. They feel nice. They're so legible. Ooh, ooh. I'm going to use these all the time, y'all. So these are the basic dice packs that you can go buy that have 6 sets of 2. Because it's a 2d6 system. You don't need d20. You don't need all 7 of the specialty dice. If you weren't sure where to put them, they also have a very nice little drawstring bag for your dice with the symbols for the 4 bending elements on them. So you have your fire bending symbol, you have your air bending symbol, you have your water bending symbol, and you have your earth bending symbol. This is a really big dice bag for 12 dice that you get in the pack. Did I just throw dice on the floor? 100% did. Like, there's so much more space in there. Huge dice bag, like absolutely enormous for how many dice they give you. They're expecting you to buy more dice because we're all dice goblins here. Tight, and then you move this down. I'm surprised this is metal. Okay, I'll take that. This is a really nice dice bag. Really good drawstring. Huge amount of space if you want to get more D6s from the Avatar Legends role-playing game, which I totally recommend because these are gorgeous. This is a nice bag, but the dice themselves are really pretty. Oh, wait. Did you think those were the only dice I got? No, no, no. I also got the whatever special edition dice for Avatar Legends as well, because I love dice. We're all dice goblins here. Look at this specialty box. These are the Deluxe Edition dice. Wasn't it? Oh, yeah. Look at that. They all come in their own little baggies, and they're all punched in. Oh, this is nice. This is so nice. Okay, hold on. I'm going to take out all of them so I can try to match them. That's crazy that they all came in their own little baggie. Wow. Okay, here we go. Oh, they're like made out of stone. This is not resin like the other ones were. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay. I'm going to show you each of the sides of them. Wow, these are gorgeous. Okay, it's got 1, 2. Wow. I'm going to find 3, I swear to you. 3. Obviously, these are technology dice. Okay, the way that the camera is showing them off makes them look like they're really hard to read. They're only really hard to read when there's no light shining on them. 4. 5. Wow, that's beautiful. And finally, the technology symbol. And again, you get 12 of them all together. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. That was technology. I'm honestly going to put them back in the same baggies they came in because they're too gorgeous not to. But I am going to leave them training side up so that they're easier to find. I don't remember what material these are made out of, but it is not resin. It does not feel like resin. These are gorgeous. Now, have these gorgeous dice been sitting in their own box, stewing for like years? Because I haven't been able to pop these bad boys open and look at them yet? Oh, 100%, absolutely. Will I now be using them for things? Probably. They're going in the pile of dice, which is nice. So this is firebending dice. Wow. I was not expecting like a holographic, crazy going over here. These are insane, dude. I'm going to start with 1. Here's what I'll do from now on. I'll hold 1 at the fire side. 1, flames all around. 2. 3, beautiful. 4, and 5, where the flame's almost complete. Finally, burning. That's gorgeous. These are some of the most beautiful dice I've ever seen. Seriously, hands down. Some of the most beautiful dice I've ever seen. I'm going to put them in this box I'm going to put technology and weapons at the top, but then I'm going to put the avatar cycle in order. Water, earth, fire, air. There we go. Got it. Got it. It's not like I also set the lights up to do that too. Not that you can see them most of the time, but that's what I did. Who's next on this list? Airbenders. Okay. Find the whoosh, 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 whoosh. 1. Damn, it's beautiful. 2. Damn. 3. 4. And 5. Damn. Absolutely insanely gorgeous. Waterbending and airbending dice. The waterbending and the airbending dice kind of have similar designs-ish on them, so they might be a little confusing, but here we go. We got waterbending. Boom, boom. 2. 3. 4. Keeping them like on the camera is very hard. 5. And 6. Absolutely gorgeous. And like, they're not exactly the same. Like the ink that's used on them or whatever that is to make them shine is not quite the same on every die. So they do look different, and that makes them even prettier. Will I be letting my players use these dice? Absolutely not. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, nope. Do not trust them. Nope. Move on to earthbending now. And also, I'm going to keep my dice right here in the box they came in. This is where they belong now. This is their home. They are going to go in the pile, though. I'm probably going to use that Appa dice tray all the time, though. So we've got earthbending over here. 1, it's a bunch of rocks. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then earthbending. And again, like the colors are different. Oh, that's so beautiful. They're gorgeous. Finally, the dice for people that use weapons. Boomerang in a spiral. 1, kind of looks like wind. 2, 3. Oh, there's the boomerang going by. 4. Now the boomerang has like an edge. That's cool. 5. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. And finally the symbol again. Whoosh. Boom! Boomerang! And that was the Avatar Legends Deluxe dice set. Now, I probably should have saved that as like the pièce de résistance, the best for last, because those were 100% gorgeous and I love them. But there is actually a couple more things I want to show you, because like I said, I have everything from the Avatar Legends role-playing game that's come out so far, I'm pretty sure. So there is another dice bag that comes with the deluxe dice, but listen, I'm going to be real with you. Ooh, I didn't expect it to feel like that. Oh, ho, 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 that's kind of nice. It has the symbols of the 4 elements, so water, earth, fire, air. It's a much like fancier dice bag. It's a bit smaller than the other one, but much fancier. I'm not going to put my dice in this dice bag. I'm going to end up just keeping them in the box that they're in because I feel like they're safer that way. But it is cool that I got another dice bag. Because let's face it, it's not like I'm not going to use it. Eventually, I will be using the dice bag. I think, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to be using this dice bag for all the D6s that I get, because we're getting more into wargaming and you need a lot of D6s all the time. So it'll be nice just to pull out a bag full of D6s. Now, we're going to come to something really, really cool that I've been excited to show everybody. Hopefully it fits on the Adapt tabletop. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, a pin. I got a pie show tile. I forgot all about this. There's a pie show tile in here. That's cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but the fact that it's here is cool. What I really want to show off is this, because I now have a map of the 4 nations, and they're color-coded. Okay, that's the coolest part. They're color-coded. In case you were wondering where people were in the 4 nations, you got the air nomad tribes, boom, boom, boom. You got the waterbending tribes, boom, boom. Fire Nation, and then the Earth Kingdom. which is over here, which is now yellow instead of green. I don't know if I would have done it that way, but all right, sure. The rest of them, it's weird that they chose white for airbending, because usually airbending is like a tinge of yellow, and then picked yellow for the Earth Kingdom. That's a bit strange. I'm not entirely sure why they did that, but I'm really excited about this in particular. I don't know where I'm going to put this yet, but I would love to put it up somewhere. Also, you can tell how long I've had this sitting around because this says it was made in 2022. So I have, in fact, had the Avatar role-playing game for quite a while, and I have been continually getting more pieces of it. I just have not had a chance to sit down and play it yet. Hopefully that changes soon, that we can run via DM Roundtable. Like, you guys can hire us to be your GM for a game. Each of us love Avatar. I will obviously teach it to the rest of the DMs, but at least for a while, it'll be me at the beginning. But we would love to be able to play games in this system. I think also us just learning 2d6 games in general would be helpful. And then there is one more thing I would like to show you. Now, do you guys remember when I said I love player aids, but I think my players may be allergic to them? Well, I went and grabbed some player journals. So, got a water bending one, an earth bending one, a fire bending one, an air bending one. And then, boom. You will also notice that they are arranged in the order of the Avatar cycle. So water, earth, fire, air. That's kind of cool. Maybe you want to use these to write your campaign info in them. Maybe you want to carry a sketchbook around with you, whatever you want to do. You've got a whole bunch of little notebooks. I don't think you can buy them separately. I think you have to buy them in a 5-pack. So 5-pack's pretty good because generally speaking, the average party size in most TTRPGs, like the idealized party size, is 4 to 5 players. So you got one for the DM, and then you have one for each of the players if they want to take notes. Most of the people at my table don't take notes. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't take a lot of notes when I'm playing in a TTRPG and other people's campaigns either. I usually only write down things that I think will be very important later on. I'm just not that much of a note taker. But as a DM, I take a lot of notes. But you can get just a nice little package of notebooks. Little notebooks that you can use in your games. And with that, we've gone through everything that I have for the Avatar Legends role-playing game. Every single thing. There's so much stuff. I got so much stuff for a game I literally haven't even had a chance to play yet. That's the crazy part. I haven't even had a chance to play this game yet, and I just keep making sure that I get everything that's part of it. Because, as y'all know, I have a problem. I have a big problem. But that's not going to stop me from playing my games. I hope you benders of all elements, you weapons users, you technology users, you mech pilots out there, you shockers, whatever you want to call yourselves. I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing of everything. And I hope that you're excited for us to add this to the repertoire of games that we can run, games that we can play, that we can show off, that we can talk about. Because this is going to be fun. And I'm also just excited again that we're going to be able to run a 2d6 system. Because we all talk about how we'd like to play a 2d6 system all the time. And yet none of us have sat down and tried to learn one. But I wanted to unbox all this stuff so that I can start reading it when I'm done with the Tome of Mystical Tattoos Volume 2, which is currently what I'm working on. Hopefully that supplementals will be a little bit shorter, but we'll see. Because I'm pretty sure this one is going to end up being pretty long when I'm done editing it. Apologies, but I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, sub. And I will see you, benders of all elements, later in the next one. Now, you've heard me during this video talk many times about how DM Roundtable can run games for you, and while we sure can do that, there are other ways you can support. You can become a member of this channel here, right now. You can jump onto the Patreon. There's a free tier on Patreon, so you know when we're going to post stuff, when new stuff is coming out. I'm not forcing any of you to, but if you would like to help me get more stuff, show off more stuff, explain more stuff, play more stuff, be able to play more things with y'all in general, there's a myriad of ways to support. Not forcing anybody to do it, but it would be helpful. Thank you so much for watching.